Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Sunday edition. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Coming live from the Primetime Radio Studios inside the bunker in an undisclosed location, New Jersey, from the mountaintop view. And where's Scotty?
I'm here. I'm just like, I'm paying attention.
Beer Baron's here, but
I'm
the
here.
palatial estate of Scotty's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's too good for us.
Yeah, I know. I know. We gotta. Whatever. Devils won, though. That's what's not too good for us. Is the Devils won today.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
That's and that's the theme of the day, because if you're a football fan and you watch that god awful putrid debacle of a football game, whether you're a Giants fan, which I am, unfortunately,
We all are. We all are on
we
this
all are.
podcast.
Actually, yes, we actually all are. It's the one thing that besides the Devils that all of us can agree on, because baseball we're all over the place, but
No, it's just you.
Three of us. Yeah, three of us are
just
right.
me.
One of us is wrong.
oh, depends on how you look at it. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
seriously,
you're either right or wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. History
At least
might prove otherwise. But
well, we all also agree that it's called Taylor ham, so that's the other thing too.
it is Taylor ham. It's Taylor ham. And I mean, like, there's sometimes where I'll get a pork roll, egg, and cheese, and somebody will be like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Taylor ham." So I do once in a while call it both, but for the most part, it is Taylor ham.
Anyway, get back to the Devils before you put your foot in your mouth again.
I'm not gonna put my foot in my mouth. My foot's the other.
You just called it pork roll.
Everybody makes mistakes. It was a good.
Uh.
It was a great game. It was one of those games where the Devils, I don't know if this is a theme that they're going with this year, where they build a comfortable lead and they still want to make it a little interesting. And
I don't like it.
And nobody likes it. And yeah, listen, we went to Shorts Guy and I went to a game this week.
Yes, we did.
Against Capitals, and we had a blast, except for the fact that the Devils lost. They went down 3-0. They come back, go up 4-3. We're screaming, high five, and
such a
great
good time.
times are had by all.
A great time. Oh my gosh, we got some beers.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
amazing. And then the third period was like an absolute cluster blank, and that's it. But this year feels weird. It's just like they're thank God they're so good offensively, because if they weren't scoring 4 to 5 goals a night, they'd be one win in the win column, and then everything else would be shoved over in the L column. But thankfully, they have enough offensive power where they can basically muscle their way through these games.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like. Obviously, as a goalie, I'm more of a defensive-minded person. So these wild score lines, and we talked about it on Game Day Live. Like, Vinny and I were talking about it. Like, yeah, it's fun. Like right now, the Calgary Edmonton game, I think, is 3-2 in the Heritage Classic, which is nice to finally watch. Finally, and seeing that type of, that's not really a high-scoring game, but if I just don't like the Devils to be in these high-scoring shootouts. It's just not. Maybe it's just me. Maybe as a Devils fan, and we lived with such defensive-minded hockey for so many years. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's I don't like it. I don't even have words for it. I just don't like it.
Yeah, and it sucks because you just want them to build a comfortable lead and just be sit back,
learn to play with
feet up on the table, and be good. They have the offensive power where they can do that. They have the wherewithal to go out there and put up 4 or 5 goals easily.
Yeah,
and that's the best part. Their power play is the best in the NHL, and they're clicking at a 45% rate right now. And if you watch a power play, you're like, yeah, I can understand why. But it drives me to the point where I get so dehydrated and thirsty that I might have to reach and grab myself this beautiful
I love it.
and
Love it.
brew
Love it. Love it.
and cracking on the airs live with all you my friends out there. Thank you to Departed Souls. A little plug for the Yank Crew Brew, but seriously, it drives a person to drink when you watch the Devils this year.
Oh yeah, and I had something to say and I completely forgot what in the world I was going to say about the Devils, but it should have been worse today if Vitek didn't come up massively on 4 minutes of penalty kill. And the first save of the game, holy hell, the first save of the game they had to make was what's his name? Kaprizov on his glove side, and he had to come over to the glove side and make a massive save. There was one point, I forget if it was that first or second kill in that series where they had 2 in a row, and it must have been from exhaustion. He went down and he made a leg pad save to his right, and the puck kind of squibbed out, and the defense grabbed it and shot it down. But he stayed down. My guess is because of exhaustion, but he stayed down, and my first thought was like, did he just get hurt? Because of the way he stayed down. But when you watch the replay, his eyes were completely on the puck, and my guess is he was just taking like a momentary break. But I got really worried that he got hurt there. But they were at least out of Vanecek today 7-8 massive saves that caused that score to be 4-3.
Yeah, even in the game against the Capitals, there's a lot of times where some people were saying, like, when he came into the game, Shorts guy, you were saying the whole time, like, as soon as Vanecek stepped in, you kept saying, that's our number one, right? That's our starting goalie. He would make a save, and you were like, that's the starting goalie. Yeah. And even there's games where it's like he's holding them afloat, and it's more of a defensive problem than it is a goaltending problem, although the score sheet would lead you to believe that it's a goaltending problem.
Oh, yeah, because we're the last line of defense, and we're the ones that, it goes by us to go up on the scoreboard, so we always get blamed for it. Not always, sometimes. But
always. I'm saying to a layman that's watching the game, they're like, Vanecek sucks. You let up 4 goals, like.
Yeah, to a layman, because I know I play with a really good group of guys, and they will own when they make a mistake, and when a goal is not my fault, and those are not really when you play with actual good players, they know when they make a mistake, and I've lucked out to play with really good players for a lot of my life. But this is the hallmark of Vanecek from last year when he was really on his game. Whenever he was really on his game and he was going for, one of those 37 wins he had last year, every single one of those games, he had a massive save. And it was just like one of those things, he'd make that massive save and be like, yep, that's it. He's dialed in. This is his game tonight. And he's doing that again. He did that multiple times tonight. He did that, a little bit on Wednesday, and he did that on Friday. So we're starting to see Vanecek, really step up. What we need to do, or what we need from Schmid, is for him to step up so that Vanecek can take a break. Vanecek was supposed to have the break on Wednesday when we were there, but Schmid didn't play well, and Vanecek had to answer the call of the bell and go into the game. Especially, I believe because I got the schedule here because there's a back-to-back in this Western swing. There's a Thursday, Friday back-to-back, so Schmid's going to have to play one of those games, and Schmid's going to have to do well to give Vanecek that break. And then it's every other day. Then there's the 2 days off, then the Washington game. It's an odd schedule, but I think the key to Vanecek doing well is rest.
Yeah, and right now the Devils play Thursday the 2nd, Friday the 3rd, so there's a back-to-back. Then they play Sunday. Yep. So you're playing 4 games in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're playing four games in a very short amount of time.
And then you got one on Tuesday. So you got Thursday, Friday.
Tuesday,
yeah, Thursday, Friday, back-to-back, Saturday off, and you're traveling. And this is West Coast travel. So Minnesota, St. Louis is not terrible. Chicago is not. St. Louis, Chicago is not bad. It's that Colorado game where you're going into the up in altitude that's going to be a little bit difficult. And I remember last year, was the Colorado game last year the one where Schmid got pulled and he just didn't do well? I think it was against Colorado towards the end of the season.
I think so, yeah.
So who knows? And Colorado's doing well again. So
Yeah.
it really should be. Vanacek, I would imagine, is going to get 3 of those 4 if they don't split them evenly 2 and 2. But Schmid needs to step it up and play well.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Nico Hischier is out because that hit by Clifton, Jersey native Connor Clifton, which come on, dude. So he got he got suspended, but hopefully he comes back sooner than later. It's not like a long-term deal. It'll be interesting to see if he makes that trip out to the West Coast or if he makes a trip at all, or if they're going to hold him back.
Yeah, we were talking about this on game. We were talking about that on Game Day Live. Apparently, he tried to play on Friday but couldn't go, so you got to assume he's close. But yeah, that'll be the big tell if he goes out with the team to Minnesota on Thursday. But we have 3 days off between now and then. 1, 2, 3, and which by the way, that's for the players that have kids. That's great. They're off on Halloween, so they get to do something with their kids on Tuesday. It may be a small thing, but that's probably a big thing for some of those players. Kind of a random thought with that, but 3 days off, for rest, recoup, get healthy for Nico, and then move forward with him coming back.
Hopefully, and listen, the game that they played tonight, it's just like one of those games like you have like I feel like they outplayed, like when they played against Washington when we were at that game, they outplayed Washington for such long stretches of that game. Although, there was like a power or Washington was on a power play where they basically spent the entire 2 minutes in the Devils' offensive or in their offensive zone. And it didn't look good at all.
We saw that tonight too.
Yeah,
that's not
exactly.
Good.
And that's the problem. Like there's these little things that this team needs to work out, defensive breakdowns that this team needs to work out, and there's like these breakdowns that lead to goals, which, like I said before, like if you look at the score sheet, yeah, you're gonna think like automatically, oh, there's a goaltending issue, but in reality, like Vanacek's been playing pretty good. There, these defensive lapses, these terrible turnovers in your own zone, in your defensive zone that are leading to goals are brutal, absolutely brutal.
Mm-hmm.
That's what killed them in that Washington game. They took that 4-3 lead. They could have walked last year. They would have walked away with that game. And I want to say, I feel like the biggest, it's not Damon Severson. I think it's Ryan Reeves. Is the Graves? Sorry, Ryan Graves. Ryan Reeves coming in there punching people in the face. No, Ryan Graves. Ryan Graves is the piece that's missing to this team. And
that was shot blocks.
Feel like it's yes,
block shots.
Do you feel like it was a huge mistake letting him get away from this team? I mean, the amount that they would have had to pay him.
Yeah, I really thought that was a mistake letting him walk away from this team because he was a stalwart on the fence, and we spoke about it for a lot of the summer in free agency about the amount of blocked shots that were gone. Between Severson and Graves. Graves did a lot of shot blocking. I mean, I'm looking at the shots on goal today. And by the way, can MSG please put shots on goal on the freaking scoreboard on the screen?
Yeah.
TBS has it for the outdoor the Heritage Classic. Holy hell. I don't know why I love that stat, but I just do. It's just probably me being a goalie. Anyway, we allowed 17 shots on goal in the second period today. 17. Minnesota had 10 in the first, 17 in the second, and 7 in the third. Like, holy hell. To me, that's too many shots allowed in a period of 17. And Vanacek only let in 1. He made 16 saves in the second period alone. It's just that's not good. I don't like that. I think that's going to wear your goalie out. And not only is it going to wear your goalie out, it's going to cause your goalie to make some long stretch saves that could potentially lead to injury. And then we're screwed.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing that we need. That's the last thing we need, especially with an Akira Schmid who's yet to find his game this year, who we all know can play well. He just hasn't proven it this year. But that's not good. Like I said, it was in that second period that the Devils had that stretch of 4 minutes in power play, and Vanek looked tired. That's hard on a goalie. Granted, these guys are NHLers. These guys are in top physical performance, but that one kill, it was the same four guys on the kill for 2 minutes. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. If you've never been on a penalty kill on the rink,
if you haven't been on
as
the
a goalie
ice,
or
if you haven't been on skates, for a 1.5 minute shift, let alone a full solid 2 minute penalty kill, your legs are screaming. Your whole body's screaming.
Yeah, physical and mental, because you have to be on point mentally and physically for the entire 2 minutes, because a mistake leads to a goal.
Yeah.
And that's where that's where a goaltender injury can occur. Being tired, and having to make a stretch save when you shouldn't have to. So that's really, it's protecting of the goalies is really where I'm bothered by this. Some goalies can handle these large number of shots, but this is the NHL. We shouldn't have to. We really shouldn't have to be doing this. And we're really, and I don't know, I'm probably making like a Sam Wu style type of comparison here. So please, if you have any complaints with what the comparison I'm about to make, please send all your Twitter complaints to @Sam Wu or whatever his Twitter is, because I'm not on Twitter anymore. We're starting to we're starting to look like the Edmonton Oilers, to where we're and just listen, because we're winning games with our offensive prowess and our defensive game is not good, and that's really the way that Edmonton is and has been, and that's why Edmonton has not been successful. And that's the only reason why I compare us to Edmonton, because that's how they win games, and it comes to bite you in the playoffs, because McDavid's always lights out scoring wise, but they never have the defense or the goaltending to do it. We have the goaltending. We just need our defensive core is young, and we knew this going into the season. So at the same time, we got to give this defensive core a little bit of time. But we got to hope that they can get it sooner rather than later, because something's got to change.
It's about time that we have a refreshing moment with this wonderful, refreshing and crew brew. And no, to answer, Max asked in the question, what does it taste like? It's close to a Kona, if you've ever had a Kona.
Yeah.
In that kind of same realm, that it's a lager. It's really, dude, listen, I've been
Max, you're gonna love it, dude. Max, you're gonna love it. We're chugging beers on the 10th, Max. You and I are chugging beers.
Yeah, I was telling the boys before we went on air, I said, we got a couple cases over at, if you're near Chester, the Chester ShopRite Liquor carries the Ankrew Brew. There's another liquor store in Greenbrook on Route 22 that carries the Ankrew Brew. But if you go to your local liquor store and if you request it, if they're good people, they will normally reach out to Departed Souls, who brewed this beautiful Ankrew Brew. And if you request it, they'll bring it into the local store by you, and you can enjoy it. Seriously, I'm not just saying it just because it's our beer, but
good.
Damn, this is good.
It's
a very good beer. But
I still real quick, I still love how we sat there at the bar trying to figure out what to call it, and that Ankrew Brew came up as a joke, but we just kept coming back to it, and here it is.
Yeah.
And we have Ankrew Brew.
And a big shout out to Max for the super chat. No. Our whole team isn't named Connor or Leon. You owe me an Ankrew Brew. Yes, we do owe you a few Ankrew Brews there, Max. And
Max,
thank you for the super chat.
Brews. Seriously, you're getting Ankrew Brews on the 10th.
And a huge shout out, Tom. Thank you for meeting us at the game the other day. That was a lot of fun. He at one point brought up the fact that I kicked the shorts guy out of our section, and that's how we came back to gain the lead. That's not the truth. He just had to go take a leak at the end of the period. It's awesome meeting you guys out in the wild.
Absolutely, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Yeah. So if you guys, funny, if anyone sees us at American Whiskey before the game, come up and say hi, because it's a lot of fun to meet people in person. Like, that we only know from your internet persona or your screen names. Just come say hi.
Yeah. Yeah, and to get back to, I would like my royalties. You'll get your royalties when you get a free beer or two there. But anyways, tonight's game is just kind of like where this team is right now, and it's like a perfect picture of where this team is right now. Offensively, they're going to be pushing forward. You have Luke Hughes, who's making huge strides. You think about it, the kid's 20 years old. The minutes that he's logging, what he's doing offensively, I think he had like 3 assists tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll tell you.
2 or 3.
Let's look at fantasy.
2 or 3.
Let's look at my fantasy
Jack,
team, which is about nothing.
Jack is the first night that he got nothing, which is kind of crazy. But if you watch, especially those 2 power play goals, if you watch how it leads into the goal, it's Jack Hughes setting up the play, pass to I think it was like pass to Luke, pass to boom, 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 boom. But it was like Jack Hughes has his handprints all over everything that happens offensively on this team. If he's not getting a point on the ledger, he's a part of it. He's there. He's doing what he has to do. Dude has 17 points in 7 games. It's out of this world, or 8 games rather. Listen, they're gonna offensively have to rely on this for a little bit until the defense gets figured out, and until Brendan Smith gets shipped off to Alaska and somebody gets, Simon Nemec gets this refreshing moment of the podcast. It's brought to you by And Crew
Brew. I got to get a keg of that for the house here. That would be fantastic to have a keg of it at the house.
It is very good. Very good.
I want to say it was one of the game day lives this past week. We were talking about, Vinny and I, how Jack has been on fire, but he isn't always going to be on fire. Maybe on Friday, maybe on Wednesday. I forget which one. But, the rest of the team's going to have to step up when he's not scoring, and the team has, and the team did today. But they were joking on the telecast today that Ken Danico used to joke around with his teammates that he was leading the team in third assists, and they were talking about, just like what you said, how Jack was the guy before the guy before the guy, leading up to those goals. And you're right, his fingerprints are all over these goals, and he's doing that off the score sheet work, which is what a really good player will do. A really good team player who also can do disgusting things individually.
Just
it's
unreal. He's definitely unreal. Hitting a different level. Like, he's definitely gotten to the point where he, how he was in juniors, where he was just seeing the entire ice and just manipulating the play. And that I think that is the biggest thing, is like manipulating the play. Like, what people don't understand is you have a talent like a Jack Hughes or a Connor McDavid or Austin Matthews or any of these big name guys. There's a reason why they sit at the top. And Jack Hughes is one of those cats that, if you watch, first of all, his all around game this year is really evolving into a completely different level. Defensively, he's really taking a step up. He's really making his impact felt like all over the ice. It's not just like offensively; it's like defensively, entering the zone. He just moves so fluidly throughout the ice. And if there could be 3 guys around him and he doesn't look panicked, and you could tell the game has completely slowed down for him. And I think that's where you see those upper echelon guys work, is where the game just looks slow. Like, when he has the puck on the stick, just 100%. And we're lucky, dude. Like, I forget who was saying this. We brought it was me, you, and our good friend of the podcast, John, came to the game the other day. Although he says he's cursed. If he ever goes down to the lower bowl, they always lose. And he might be right, because I've never seen him win when John comes down to the lower bowl. But he was like, you watching Jack Hughes out there, it's like everything seems so simple to him now. And everything is just like the whole game just kind of like slows down when he has the puck on his stick. And you watch everybody else, it's like real quick. Jack gets the puck, and like everything just kind of like comes to this like real, almost slow motion movement. And it's just
Mhm.
it's amazing to watch that.
It is, and we're seeing him come into himself. It took a little bit of
Been
time for him to
jammed.
It took a little time for him to get used to the league. He was coming in. He was head and shoulders above everyone else, and he came into a league where he was now everyone was as good, if not better, than him. But he has responded, and that's exactly what you want. You want your top players to respond. And man, I love having him on this team, and it's a special thing for us to see him for all these years that we're going to see him play as the New Jersey Devil. It's going to be fantastic, and I'm so happy that we have him forever.
Yeah, and just to reply to everybody in the chat, I lost the beeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. What? And the what? Only one man would jam the radars. Anyways, sorry. A lot of Spaceballs talk. It's my favorite movie. Ludicrous speed. But yeah, Jack, we're lucky to watch Jack. Jesper Bratt is having a hell of a season.
Oh yeah,
it's if
and I'm
if
glad.
Jack wasn't here,
I'm glad he is.
Oh yeah, but it's like so funny because like what Jack Hughes is doing overshadows pretty much what everybody else is doing. Jesper Bratt is having an out of this world season so far too. Yes, listen, we haven't hit 10 games, so there's no need to panic about things. There's no need to get overexcited about things, but you can be pretty stoked that Jack Hughes has 17 points in 8 games. That Jesper Bratt has, which I don't know, I have to check. 13, 14 points?
I'll look up what
in
Jesper
the
has.
same amount of games. But like the team.
This is pre-show prep that we should have done. It is teamwork.
My pre-show prep was to reach in the refrigerator and grab a refreshing.
We know. Just wait till I get my permanent home studio set up in my home bar, and all I have to do is reach over and pull a tap handle. Oh man, that's going to be a mess.
14 points. Thank you guys. Max
14.
And Ramona. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys are the best.
So 14 points in 8 games is just a shade under 2 points per game.
And I love seeing that the season, at least for now, after signing a massive contract. Sometimes you can get that dip because they don't have to. Mm-hmm. He is responding to this contract, which is what we want. And I will take it. I will definitely take it.
Yeah. Dude, it's amazing. And Max, don't you ever say that again. Don't you ever put that into the universe. He said, imagine if Jack went to the Rangers.
No.
Don't ever put that into the universe. Get that taste out of your mouth. How dare you?
Seriously, Max, why would you even bring that up, Max? Seriously.
How dare you?
Oh my gosh.
How dare you? That's terrible. We rescind your beer for saying something as absurd as that.
or we'll make you chug something really terrible.
Yeah.
That'll be the penalty. You'll have to chug something super terrible. Like a warm natty ice or something. Ugh. We've all been there.
Red Dog. They still make that Red Dog.
Listen, this is what happens when the two adults of this podcast, Sam and Scotty, are not here. You and I just go off the rails.
I might have had a few. What of it? A couple of Chardonnays.
I had a couple.
Never mind. I was going to say something.
Yeah, whatever. Just move on.
But listen, this upcoming road trip is going to be really revealing about this team, where they are. I feel like it's going to be a good bonding moment. I feel like they've had a lot of, they've been home a lot for the beginning half of this season. So it's actually kind of a good thing that they're going to be going away for a little bit. They're going to go on this nice little road trip. Because a lot of teams, this is where they start to come together to really start to gel. The other day, after that Washington game, Lindy Ruff went out into the press, and he didn't hold back, and he laid into his team.
Good.
And said, you know what, we played soft, and they deserved to. The result is what they deserved, and I love that because he wasn't going to sugarcoat the fact that like there was plays that they let up on, there was plays that they got pushed around on. There's going to be games where they play heavy teams. They're going to play a Washington. Actually, they play Washington again real soon. There's going to be these games where they're going to get pushed around.
When do they play Washington again? They play Washington again
I don't know. Some kind of important. It's an important date.
It's
It's
the
really
Devils
important.
playing The Devils playing Washington on the 10th is the second most important thing happening that day. The first most important thing is our Ann Crew Brew lunch party at American Whiskey on November 10th.
Ding.
All right. Anyway, continue on, Beer Baron.
So, but and even like Dubs, I feel like Dawson and Timo are going to come to life on a road trip. Start filling up the scorecard, the score sheet a bit.
Dude, I'll
Get
take
away
it.
from the rock. Away from the rock for a bit and lose the pressure. I agree. Listen, I
Mhm.
feel like Timo. Listen, Dawson Mercer's game has been so solid, except for scoring goals or getting
Yep.
points. If you're watching the behind the play stuff, if you're watching the PK when he's out there, he's doing all the right things. Yeah, he's not scoring. He's not putting any points up right now, and everybody's freaking out because you're like, this guy was, on 56 points last year or something like that, and he should have been on like a 76 point, trajectory or whatever it was. Yeah, he'll get there. It'll be okay. Timo Meyer will get there. He was putting up assists. He got a couple of goals. Like, he will be fine. These are the players I'm not really worried about. Defensively, that's what I'm worried about. Offensively, I think they're fine. I think they will figure it out. If somebody shuts down Jack tonight, which they did, somebody else steps
You
up.
knew it was going to
Jesper
happen.
Bratt,
You knew it was going to happen.
exactly. And Jesper Brett steps up. You're getting the power play is still working at a highly efficient rate. And by the way, if you're watching a game and you watch a power play work, the way they move the puck is just Tyler
My
Toffoli.
gosh.
Can we please, at this rate right now, please extend Toffoli for 3, 4, 5 years, whatever you need to do.
Please.
He fit into this team so nicely. But yeah, seriously, I'm not worried about them offensively. I'm not worried about Merce. I'm not really worried about Timo. I'm worried about defensively. Fix all these little problems. Go back to being able to let up 1 or 2 goals, because eventually we will hit a dry spot where the offense will dry up for a little bit, or you go into that slump area, and you can't keep sustaining this 5 goals a night, 4 goals a night kind of thing.
Yeah, and this is the stuff that we got to be geared up for towards for the playoffs. Making sure that we can win tight games, overtime games. So let's get it out of our system now. Get these high scoring games, these high flying games out of the system. Start tightening up that defense ASAP. And I know it's only October, about to turn the calendar to November, but these are the times you learn these lessons to gear up towards April, May, and June. This is the time to start. This is the time to start.
It's weird though, because I was talking to somebody the other day, and I forget who I was talking to, but they were saying, this team is set up where if this continues, and listen, they're 5-2-1, they're in good shape. It's not like they're 2-5-1. It's not like the team is I know our expectations are super high, so those 2 losses were like they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
At least that Washington won. At least the Washington won. They should have never let that lead go. And I told you the next day, I texted you. I was pissed off.
Yes, you were.
Dude, it was so fun. So Shorts Guy and I and our friend John were at the game, and you looked at me at one point and you were like, dude, it's October. The building is packed on a Monday night or Wednesday night, a Wednesday night game against the Capitals. The building was packed, and it was exciting where it felt like it felt like it mattered. I know it sounds stupid, but it's, you know what I mean? Like that.
No, you're right.
Feeling of it being invested, fully invested, right?
Yeah.
And it just they're still 5-2-1. They're going in the right direction. They'll be all right.
They are, and they will. They're still a young team. That's the one thing. They're still a young team, but eventually we have to stop being the young team and just keep it together. Really, what you want, and I hate to make this comparison right now, but you want is what the Bruins have. How many pieces over the summer did the Bruins lose? This is 2 years in a row where everyone's counting the Bruins out, and in all the preseason polls and all the preseason discussions, Bruins aren't going to do it. Bruins aren't going to do it, and all of a sudden the Bruins they're now doing it again for the second season in a row. Ultimately, the ultimate goal was not won by the Bruins. but they're able to adapt and to figure out what they need to, and that's what this team needs to do, is to adapt and to figure it out, which I have no doubt this coaching staff will do. But maybe we're maybe we're looking at how key and critical to this team that Brunette was as a coaching staff, as a member of the coaching staff. Like how much of a key person on that bench was he to keep this team doing what they were doing last year? Maybe we're seeing the loss of that.
But how involved was he with defense? How involved was he?
I don't know.
Because by the way, our power play, if he was involved with the power play last year, I'll take Green all day. Because our power play this year is way better, light years better than it was last year. So
it's so hot right now too. It's incredible.
Oh, but you see it like where it's hot, but it's hot for, it's not like topically hot. Like, oh, they're hot because they're just clicking, and like it's like a gimmicky thing, and then teams will figure them out, and then like the gimmick will go away. No, it feels like they're hot because they're understanding like how to move the puck. It's good. Boom, 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 boom. Everything is quick. And the shots that they're taking are like calculated shots. It's not like send it up to the point and then just bury one into the middle and let it get blocked and then sent out to the sides and then boom, out the boards and out. It's like everything is precise. They're not pressuring it. They're not trying to force it, and they're just boom. Everything is clean.
That's a Foley goal. He was covered. Covered. He was covered, and he got his stick on the puck in the right spot. To Fleury's blocker side. And he put it home. It just seems like,
dude, he's been so
it
good
seems
lately.
like he can do no wrong right now, which is good, and I'll take that because that's fantastic. He wanted to be 100%. Here. He wanted to be here, and it's showing. He's proving why he's proving why the Devils brought him in.
Yeah, and listen, if he's saying what he's saying the right thing, and he buys into the system, we'll see him for the next couple of years too,
which is good.
Yeah, if he keeps producing the way he is, he's at this pace, he's going to score like 45 goals this year.
Yeah, I know. That's incredible.
That's great.
Again, it's early, and he can cool down like all these guys can cool down. But I would love to see them keep at least a similar pace all season long.
Yeah, for sure. And there's Jack is playing at a completely different rate right now. You expect him to at least listen. He had a night tonight where he didn't score anything. He didn't get an assist. He didn't get anything. We said it earlier in the show. His handprints were all over some of those goals tonight. So even though he's not scoring, he's not directly scoring, or he's not directly getting an assist. He's still a huge contributor to the reason why they're scoring a goal. And this team, like Nico Hischier being out in previous years, would have been such a huge hit to this team. And I feel like that's another thing that Fitzgerald has built such a good, solid group. At least offensively, you look at it. Nico Hischier being out, that should be a huge hit to your team. That's your at least number 2 center. If not your number 1 center, that's your number 2 center. The fact that he's out should be like, oh man, that's they're gonna lose a couple games in a row. It's gonna be tough. He's out, and it's like they offensively don't miss a beat. They keep scoring that 4 to 5 range and keep doing what they're doing. As soon as he comes back, it's just like plug him back in, boom, it'll be good to go. If they can figure this out defensively, this team will be dangerous. Right now they're good, but they just have to hit that next level. They have to fine-tune that D and figure it out, even if that means making a trade, which guess what? Doesn't have to be next to the trade deadline. Could be whenever. Make that little adjustment. Make that whatever you need to do. If they need to let them develop a little bit more, if they can get the defensive side of it to be locked down a little bit more, this team will be absolutely dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's whatever they're going to have to do to make this, and it may be Brendan Smith coming out of the lineup and Nemec coming up. That could be the first move.
It could be. It could be, and
And
maybe they're waiting for Nemec because he got hurt, and so maybe they're giving him a couple games to like get back up to speed.
get back to the swing of things. Yeah, it could be. I mean, they
But
know the
Brendan,
inner workings of it more than we do, but
or
yeah,
maybe they're waiting for Miller. Maybe they're waiting for Miller to get
could
back up
be.
to speed.
Could
Because
be.
Brendan Smith has been, oof.
He would be the defenseman on the block as far as I'm concerned. As far as first one moved out of the lineup.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah,
And there's no question.
I'm stating an obvious, I know, but still, it's like it's just not. It's not working with him. It's almost he's more of a liability than anything out there.
Maybe, and I just saw Ramona just say Cal Foote is already up here. Maybe it's time to give Cal Foote a shot because at this point, like, are you going to go any worse than Brendan Smith? Because there's a lot that one the goal that I forget Pat Maroon scored tonight. Brendan Smith gets burned on the play and then is like actively hooking at him. Can't even stop him trying to hook at him. And, Maroon goes in there and just scores a goal. And it's just, that's a typical one of those Brendan Smith, like, all right, thanks, buddy, but no thanks kind of deals.
Mm-hmm.
He just has not looked good at all this year.
No, and maybe he can have a turnaround. You never know. Maybe it's down to Utica. We'll give him a turnaround. But, yeah, right now he seems to be the guy that should be, first out. If a lineup change is needed defensively.
And then Stephen Engel said that Lindy pretty much said no to Cal getting time in the post-game interview, which I wonder why. Like,
there's something there.
At what point do they not maybe it's just a trust thing. Because they had Brendan Smith in the system last year. Is that it? That you just trust? You trust Brendan Smith that much more?
I really don't know. It's just so odd that Cal Foote's up. They don't want to give him time. That they want Brendan Smith. Brendan Smith just seems to be at times a human mistake machine. The penalties. It's just like, oh man, I don't get it. But they're gonna have to figure this out because we're not gonna win. We're not gonna win doing this all season long.
No, I love it. Supernova just said, in Smith, we don't trust. And that's
true.
It's true.
That's very true.
And Ramona, like I said before, and I agree with you, if they can get it together, if that defense can get it together, by God, this team would – because the goaltending isn't that bad. And that's what sucks because, like, you look at the numbers, you're like, we should have gone for Hellebuck or we should have done Gibson. It's like Vanecek is not playing that bad. It's just he's been put in some really terrible spots.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
yeah.
Oh man, if they can figure that out defensively, just that little tweak, whatever they need to do.
And we're almost there. We'll get there. I just hope that we get there before the. I hope we get there before the scoring dries up.
Yeah,
because that'll be scary. That'll be scary if they don't figure that out before the scoring dries up.
Right now, the goal differential has to be, and I'll try to look it up really quick. It has to be either even or like, let's see, +3. That's not good. You're scoring 4 to 5 goals a night. Yes, granted they're only 8 games into the season, but you're only a +3. Like, you look at the Rangers, who are 6-2 right now, they're a +9. Boston, who's 7-0-1, +14. Last year, the Devils were a plus at the end of the year. I want to say they're over a +50 at least.
Quite good.
Definitely
quite good.
Yeah. So, like, that's one of those stat lines that, to me, is a huge stat line because, like, that plus minus or like the goal differential there's not a lot of teams. If you're in that even to negative, you're probably either playing for that second wild card spot or you're right outside of the playoffs. Yeah. So you need to make sure that your team is well above that plus mark, because right now, only being +3 and scoring 4 to 5 goals a game is is pretty bad.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm trying to look up last year's standings, see if I can find it somewhere, but I don't think I can. About those last two playoff spots, what their good differential was, but I don't think I'm going to find it. It's practice this week. Travel. I'm curious if when they're gonna travel to Minnesota, if they're gonna travel on Wednesday or if they're gonna travel sooner. But I gotta assume Wednesday will be the travel day.
I would probably bet that they're gonna have their traditional Halloween party, which is always fun to watch because you get those,
all those pictures,
the player pictures of what they're gonna dress up as, and the wives and girlfriends. So you get that picture out there, which is always fun to look at. So you probably think they're going to, at a minimum, probably leave Monday, Tuesday, right? Probably give them off tomorrow.
I would think so, yeah.
So probably have off tomorrow. They'll probably have their party tomorrow night if they haven't done it already, and then they'll probably travel Tuesday. Get into Minnesota
Wednesday.
Get a full day.
Minnesota's
Wednesday.
not a long. Minnesota's not a long trip. They could definitely travel on a Wednesday morning and be out there Wednesday night.
Eric said on the broadcast, Bill said they are leaving Wednesday.
Okay.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Makes sense. Should have paid more attention myself, but thank you, Eric. So that makes sense because it's going to be a long. They're going to be away from home for a while, so Minnesota's only 1 hour behind.
But also, like you said, it has to play a factor into the fact that thanks. Halloween is on Tuesday, so then there's a lot of guys that have a lot of kids. I wonder if they're kind of taking that into consideration.
Could be,
go have Halloween with your kids, spend some time with them. So probably putting in work at home, and then fly out Wednesday. But Stephen Engel says, "Okay, wrap the blank up. I have to deliver mail tomorrow." Listen, Steven, we'll wrap it up. I will wrap it up when I'm ready to wrap it up. I'm not ready because I didn't finish my Ann Crew brew yet. This delicious and delectable Ann Crew brew. Because when you're looking for a solid night, and you're looking for a solid beer, there's only one beer to grab. And that, my friend, is an Ann Crew brew. And when you do, don't forget to scan that QR code on the side if you would like to listen to the podcast or find out more information about the brewery.
It almost sounded like you knew what you were doing. It almost sounded like you knew what you were doing.
Unscripted, too.
Unscripted, off the cuff. Love it. Love it. Love it.
But yeah, dude, we have real men of genius indeed.
Yeah.
We are getting towards that time.
We are
getting towards the end. Listen, good, solid win tonight. Solid win. You take it where you can get it. I know it sucks when they win 5-4, 4-3, all these wins. But at the same time, a win's a win's a win.
Yeah.
Didn't have to go into overtime. Didn't have to spend extra energy. Just put another win on the board and move on. Fix the defense, fix whatever they need to do, but a win's a win's a win.
Yeah, I'll take it. And I'm about to rejoice because my fantasy hockey team might get its first win of the season. Oh, I think so. Talk about rejoicing in a win. And I'm an idiot and didn't put Ryan Nugent-Hopkins into my lineup because for some reason I can't read because reading is hard. And he's on my bench. I think my opponent's going to get 2 more points for a Markstrom assist. But yeah, speaking of rare wins, there's a rare win for me. 1 and 2. 1 and 2 in fantasy.
It's not been a fantasy. It's this fantasy nightmare for me. Football and hockey both terrible weekend. But hey, listen, the Devils win. It's a good night. They're going to go on the road. Wednesday, we'll have Game Day Live. We'll have Devils After Dark afterwards.
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday. Wednesday. We're in Minnesota. Nope. Because I'm going to movies on Wednesday. It's Thursday.
Thursday, Friday?
Yep, Thursday, Friday. Game Day Live, Thursday, Friday, Devils After Dark to discuss the game that was after every one of the games. And Vinny and I discussed the game that's upcoming on Game Day Live on each of those nights as well. So I guess we should do final thoughts. Start wrapping it up because we all have work tomorrow. So why don't you start with your final thought there, Beer Baron?
My final thought is, as I sit here,
look who decided to show up for final thoughts.
Hey, Sam. Sam, as I see you jump, you can come back, Sam. Come back to us. Come back to us. As I see you joining the group and joining the podcast, Sam, I just want to enjoy this last sip of Ann Crew Brew. Refreshing and down to the last drop delicious. If I'm having a hard day or if I'm having a long day, I like to finish my day with an Ann Crew Brew. And one day, and hopefully soon, you will too. So it's pretty good, right?
It is good. It is
good. My real final thought is, listen, we get to a point where, like I just said before, a win's a win to win. But they got to start fixing some things, because sooner or later it's going to be a hell of a lot harder to score 4 or 5 goals a game and make up for bad defensive play. I know the coaches are doing the right thing. The team's doing the right thing. Have faith in the boys out there. So far, the season's been a hell of a lot of fun to watch. And it's more fun to watch when you're enjoying a delicious Ann Crew Brew. So that's my final thought.
By the way, Tom's comment, Beer Baron's final thought, drink beer. It's correct.
Yes, exactly.
I would agree with that final thought.
Win more, drink more.
Yeah, win more and drink more. Yeah, let's get the final thoughts. Have a Duff. Absolutely
have a Duff.
Supernova. Duff beer for me. Duff beer for
Duff
you.
Beer for you.
I'll have a Duff. You'll have one too. Let's take a couple days. Let's get these defensive struggles figured out, and go out west to the Midwest, like Ramona is saying, going out to the Midwest, and let's get some wins on the road, and build some team unity out there on the road. It's the first big road trip of the season. Those are always fun. You're around the guys for almost 6-7 days together, and you build a lot of unity at that point. And also go out and request or buy Ann Crew Brew at your local liquor store, and come out on November 10th.
Sam's got one too.
Look at that. Come out on November 10th and have some Ann Crew Brew at American Whiskey, and you can chug beers with the likes of me and Max and some other people who are going to be out there, like the guys I play hockey with. It's going to be a mess in all the best ways.
Final thoughts. I want to thank all those wishing myself and Mrs. Wu a happy anniversary. Really appreciate it.
Happy anniversary,
happy
Sam.
anniversary. That's right.
Sam,
happy anniversary.
You baked their cookies, right? Or you're going to?
No, it didn't happen.
Well, Sam, I heard right after the show you were going to bake her some cookies.
Okay.
I heard you were going to.
It's more like
going to have one of those infamous Sam Wu salads.
Actually, I posted on Twitter the salad I ate tonight.
Was it full of meat and
No, it was actually a real salad. Yeah.
Yeah. No, what was it? The salad before the rest of the food?
No, I had like pizza, chicken parm, pasta beforehand. Yeah. Had the salad as my dessert or something. I don't know. And washed it down with an Ann Crew Brew.
With an Ann Crew Brew.
I'm the only one with that one right now.
Light, delicious, and refreshing.
And red.
And red.
And red.
Anyway, final thoughts. Look, this team is getting it. They're gelling right now. It's going to take a little time. We knew that the defense would take a hit just because of Graves and Severson now off the roster, but Luke Hughes is really stepping up to the plate, and it's just a matter of, look, they can once they put it all together, This team is elite. And if they can, their power play, will they be sustainable at 25, 30% or whatever that percentage is right now, number one? I think so. There's nothing that, they're unstoppable right now. So start drawing more penalties. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Move those feet, boys. Draw more penalties.
Yeah. All right. Well,
cool. I guess we'll end it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the music.
Find the music, Sam.
Trying to
because
find
you know why he can't. You know why he can't find that music? Because he hasn't had himself an and Crew brew, a refreshing and delightful beer that will satisfy your taste buds and
You sound like
your soul.
You sound like a Lucky Strike commercial back in the 50s. Lucky Strike.
Hey, friends, have you had a Lucky Strike today? If you had, guess what? War's over. Come on, boys, let's go have one. Yeah, something like
Lucky Strike, the healthy cigarettes.
Lucky Strike, recommended by 9 out of 10 doctors.
And Crew Brew is like vitamins. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Did you forget to take your medicine today? Don't worry, boys. You can have your and Crew Brew delivered right to your doorstep.
On the double.
There's the music.
Yeah, there it is. Ramona Rice wants a woo report. The morning woo is coming very soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
The morning woo.
The 6 a.m. morning woo. Oh. Yeah. We'll figure that one
How do you
out.
skip these ads? Get out of here, Max. We were sent 2 beers.
All right. Thank you to all those tuning in, dropping the podcast at midnight. Remember, November 10th, our launch party at American Whiskey before the Devils take on the Washington Capitals and the debut of And Crew Brew. Till next time, let's go Devils.